Okay, so you need to be collecting this kind of bottle. This is a water bottle. Remove the labels. You can collect Coke bottles, any other bottles, as long as they're easy to cut in half. Take the lids off. You can squash it and cut it with normal scissors. Be a little bit careful because it can be a bit sharp. It doesn't matter which end you use. If you look at this end, it's got grooves all the way around, which will help you make poppies. So we'll start with this end, and you'll notice I've already soldered 2 holes through there, which an adult's going to need to do. So we can do those afterwards if you supply them without it cut, or if you have got a soldering iron, you can cut them. So I'm going to cut all the way around on this one, missing out every other groove, so we can make some decent sized petals. I'm cutting all the way up. Just long petals for now, and then we're going to cut them shorter to make poppies. So last one. And then bend those out. And then we're going to round them off into much shorter petals, because poppies have quite short petals. Cut each of those all rounded. Don't worry if they're a little bit different. We're working on the basis that all flowers are different from each other anyway. We don't want anything very standard here. So cut those all the way around. Okay, snip off the corners. Get rid of the pieces. Those can be recycled. Now, another bit that an adult will need to supervise is we take a tea light. This is not essential, but it does make for a nice, natural looking poppy. And we just melt the petals very, very briefly because they curl very quickly. Just gives them a little bit more of a natural effect. And if your cutting is a little bit ragged, it also rounds off the edges. You see that it curls very quickly. Okay, just leave that to one side. Right, I'm going to be painting it on the reverse. That leaves the top side shiny. If you look at one that's already been made, you can see it's quite shiny. We're painting on the reverse. Okay, so I have got 3 colours of red paint here. I've got a dark and a medium and an orange. I'm going to start with the orange in the centre, and I'm going to paint out from the centre. If I paint out from the centre, it looks far more natural than painting across the petals. We try not to mix the paint with any water because it doesn't stick to the plastic if it's mixed. So a nice thick layer of orange. And I'm going to go for the next darkest, so I'm going to go for the crimson. And just blend that in. This is the messy bit. You're going to need an apron on for this bit. It's acrylic paint, so if it gets on your clothes, it probably won't come off, but it will come off hands. So working all the way around, just blending the second colour into the first colour. Okay. It's a little bit tricky where you've melted it because it makes it quite crinkly. But make sure you get all the paint in all of the little crinkles. Okay. Keep on going round. And then that takes probably 10-15 minutes to dry, depending on whether you've got fresh air coming in. Put it by a door or a window. That will speed things up. And I'm going to have to put it down for the last one, otherwise I'm going to get it all over my hands. So keep on painting all the way around. Do you want me to do a bit of a Blue Peter, and here's one I prepared earlier? Maybe. But I'm going to carry on. You can always fast forward this bit. So nice thick layer. If you put a thick layer on, you'll see on the other side it's not too transparent. This is the darkest colour now. And by blending 3 colours together, it makes it look really natural. Really nice. I think we've almost done. Okay, I'm going to put that one to one side. Just flip it over just to show you the other side of it. That one can go to one side for now. Just wash your brush. I'm going to show you the other side of the other end of the bottle. So this is the lid end. Into the lid you'll need to punch some holes, a little bit like this one. And you can leave the lid off for now. Cut all the way down again, all the way to the lid. Now you're going to have to estimate on this one the width of the petals. You should get maybe 4 or 5 petals out of this. Again, really don't worry. If you end up with only 3, it really doesn't matter. And then bend them out. bend them out. If you press them down, then it will stay put. So I've managed to get 5 petals out of this one. And again, round it off. Make them quite short, otherwise it will end up looking like a daisy. Like so. And if you have a Coke bottle or a big lemonade bottle, you get some really nice big flowers out of those. All of these poppies are going to be very different, and that's great too. So I've got one that I did earlier because you don't want to see me melting. Another one, exactly the same. You paint exactly the same from the centre out all the way around into your lid, which has got 2 holes cut. We're going to be threading a wire tie through that and attaching it to the whole project. Exactly the same with the other one. I've got a few more here to show you. So these have holes punched already, and we're going to be attaching them to the whole display at the Guildhall with these wire ties. And then we've got some green fabric with the names of all the soldiers from the epitaph on, which we're going to be adding as their stalk. So you can see that will be then tied on to the whole display. This part here, I can show you how that's done. If we flip this one over, we take a Sharpie. You can then colour in the centre just like this one, and then put on the stamens as well. If you've got one with a lid like this, we can put on the stamens and the centre of the poppy with a Sharpie, or with black acrylic paint. You can paint the whole inside of the lid with black acrylic paint, and you can do what you like with this bit. We can put some little seeds on as well if you want to. And if you want to add your name to it, we've got quite a few that have got the children's names added. So if you want to put your name on the petal, just like these ones, you're very welcome to do that. And then you can come along when the display is up and see if you can find your poppy. Now, if you learn those skills, you can use them to make lots of other sorts of flowers as well if you like. Thank you.